Hello, dear friends. Only those who renounce all worldly desires for fame are choosing to be a mysterious outsider, according to Poet Dog. Opinion piece: emerging spirituality, new spirituality, shared economy, return of angels, spiritual maturity, signs and wonders, sovereign uprising, purification process, financial transparency, development of clairvoyance. Edgar Cayce predicted a change in 2026. Let's start. As religion is left behind and more mature ways of being human are explored, a new spirituality is emerging on planet Earth. According to Alcuin Brimpton, the transpersonal and transdimensional perspective is becoming common, and the origin of life is being questioned. As humanity re-examines the official narratives of human culture, the influence of benevolent cosmic teachers becomes evident, and the new awareness of the return of the angels manifests. People begin to have powerful and positive experiences with prayer, invocation, affirmation, meditation, dream management, vocalization, yoga, energy work, and kundalini. Children with unusual characteristics are being born. Signs and wonders abound. Maps of the hidden spiritual anatomy of the human body are being drawn up as its sigils of light, power points, and portals are identified through study and spiritual practice. Human beings are learning to live and return to their physical bodies at will, and to use their essential body for spiritual work during sleep. New spiritual information is coming to light. Ordinary people are developing clairvoyance, the possibility of substantial communication with animals, plants, water, stones, and celestial bodies is being demonstrated. The existence of animal and plant species on the surface of the planet is being recognized, who are more spiritually evolved than most human beings. Established theories about the planet's geology are being discarded as it becomes evident that Earth possesses enormous interconnected internal chambers and tunnel systems kilometers deep in its crust, many of which are not aquifers. Many are illuminated, allow for plant growth, and are inhabited by advanced civilizations, including ancient human populations. These civilizations are connected to those on other planets in the solar system and to those in other star systems. Visitors routinely travel in both directions. It is said that there are around 400,000 active extraterrestrial bases on Earth, invisible to the human eye. They have revealed to us that Earth did not originate in our solar system. It was brought here from a solar system in Sirius about 65 million years ago. This occurred before the first human beings arrived on the planet. The constellations of Canis Major and Canis Minor in the Sirius system, 8.6 light years away, have hundreds of planets, aquatic, some of which are home to the cetaceans we know in our oceans. They say that Earth transitioned into the solar system because there was an unoccupied orbital space around the Sun. The previous planet in this orbit was supposedly destroyed during a conflict between rival factions. That planet was called Maldek, also known as Sunata or Odo. Some Egyptian pyramids have internal structures precisely aligned with the position of Sirius in the night sky when they were built. It is possible that some of the benevolent extraterrestrial bases now operating on Earth arrived with the planet when it transitioned from Syria. The oral tradition of the African Dogon tribe preserves shamanic practices, and the connection with Syria persists in their narratives. In the nascent new era, the concepts of ecological love and the sharing economy are gaining ground. Books are being published or discovered that are better written, more documented, more spiritual and more authoritative than any sacred text of any Mediterranean religion ever invented. In the East, a renewed respect is growing for our spiritual elders, especially in the West, not in the East, especially Maitreya, Saint Germain, Sananda, and Dwaj Khul. Two of them are known by other names in Christian and Islamic cultures. Maitreya, Christ, the Imam Mahdi, and Sananda, Yeshua ben Joseph, Jesus of Nazareth, the Prophet Jesus. In the Nag Hammadi library, discovered in 1945, and the Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered in 1947, Christ is referred to as the teacher of righteousness, and Jesus as the Messiah. Online spiritual communities are liberating people from the tyranny of spiritual censorship imposed by established religions. Furthermore, they are enabling and encouraging the individual exploration of previously forbidden metaphysical ideas experienced but not openly expressed within the mystical traditions of religions and philosophies. Down here in the Matrix, these kinds of conversations can be difficult. Human beings do not own planet Earth. The human population on the far surface is temporary visitor. It is part of an exploratory race, attending a mystery school in the third dimension. Human civilization is here briefly and will depart for other planets, star systems, and parallel realities. The rabbit hole extends to infinity. Curious. Great solar reset. Unprecedented cold covered regions that shouldn't have seen frost for another 2 months due to the coronal mass ejection impacting Earth's magnetic field. In Florida, temperatures plummeted to as low as 4 degrees Celsius, and across the Southeast, century-old records were broken. Data shows that crops fail and the economy suffers when solar activity decreases and the magnetic field fluctuates. Many lightworkers ask, where are my spiritual gifts? I used to have spiritual gifts and I feel like I don't anymore. Spiritual gifts don't disappear. Rather, they require the individual to adapt and connect with the new energy and reality of the planet through a direct connection with the Creator and an elevated state of consciousness that accompanies the dimensional shift we are experiencing. Creon explains that reality has changed, and the gifts now operate in a new dimension with a different frequency, which makes it seem as if they have been lost, but these gifts have actually become stronger and more effective. According to Ismael Perez, the recent Jupiter agreements indicate interstellar pacts that end Earth's isolation and grant humanity access to interplanetary trade routes and ancient extraterrestrial colonies. Aurora Project is a bridging initiative to match secret space programs and scientific communities worldwide, developing advanced energy technologies and facilitating planetary ascension. He also mentions the dismantling of negative alien factions and corrupt federations to be replaced by a coalition of worlds aligned with Earth's liberation. The Old World versus the New World according to Tartaria Hispanica. In the Old World, there were no computers, No electronics, no automation, no cell phones, no rush, no surveillance, no control, and so many laws that only rob us of our freedom. In the old world, things were done well, with good materials, with healthy and quality ingredients, with much more intelligence and ingenuity, and with good taste. Good values, respect, and manners were essential. In the new world, it is difficult to find a gentleman or someone elegant or even someone who knows how to perform a simple mathematical operation without resorting to a phone calculator. The mark of the beast. The right hand is often used for crafting artifacts. When the artifact is used for evil against others, it bears the mark of the beast according to the Revelatorium. This mark represents a symbol of corruption or the misuse of creative and technological power against the common good. Traditionally, the mark of the beast, according to Revelation, is placed on the right hand or forehead, symbolizing not only external control, but also an internal substance or corrupt authority. Purification. Edgar Cayce predicted a global collapse in 2026, encompassing multiple levels: physical, economic, political, and spiritual, indicating a pivotal year for humanity and the planet. Cayce also spoke of a sudden economic collapse and a profound moral and spiritual crisis in humanity, where fear would become the dominant currency and the old trust in social and political systems would crumble. However, this interpretation is not only one of destruction, but also a process of purification that would force humanity to choose between the material and the spiritual, with an awakening or rapture in the collective consciousness of the planet. Full thought summary. In the current situation, the mafia is losing its ability to launder money created out of thin air in the real world through the stock market. The multi-billion-dollar drive to create even more massive data centers seems to support the Gnostic Illuminati's claim that we are dealing with rogue artificial intelligence. The US has reduced its military presence in several Eastern European countries. The contingent stationed at Romanian Air Base will be reduced from 1,700 to only 1,000 troops. Similar reductions are planned in Bulgaria, Slovakia, and Hungary. The ostriches killed in Canada have proven immune to avian flu. They held a cure. Are we beginning to understand why the birds had to go? The Space Force possesses weapons that still allow it to dominate all other countries, including Russia and China, but it will not use them. According to French journalist Thierry Mason, Russia has the capability to disconnect NATO from its own weapons. It wasn't interference. The weapons simply stopped responding. Russia extended the system across Syria, and since it operated within a circular area, it partially extended it for 2 days to Lebanon, Iraq, and Turkey. No civilian aircraft were allowed to fly. Later, they deployed this weapon in Kaliningrad and on the Black Sea. All Ukrainian thermal power plants are out of service. This means that Ukraine would have to be evacuated before winter. France could also face difficult winter. The French newspaper Le Monde reports that all the uranium from Niger that previously supplied French nuclear power plants is now being exported to Russia. France relies on nuclear energy for 70% of its electricity. RFK Jr. describes the Davos Forum as a cartel of billionaires posing as savers while manipulating the global system to amass wealth and suppress freedom. According to him, this Davos elite arrives in private jets only to lecture the world on sacrifice, using censorship and fear to crush dissent and consolidate their power. As a real thing unfolded in the European Parliament, Ursula von der Leyen abruptly left the meeting room after Hungarian President Viktor Orban published a scandalous report accusing the European Commission of serious irregularities. Before the astonished eyes of MEPs, the Hungarian Prime Minister revealed secret documents proving the investment of billions of euros in projects linked to allies of the European Commission. Panic erupted in Strasbourg, shouting confusion, calls for immediate resignation. Von der Leyen looked pale. Orban, once isolated, now appears to be leading a sovereign uprising as Brussels tries to stem the biggest scandal in its recent history. Egypt has officially inaugurated a new administrative capital, officially called the New Capital, in official correspondence. The city is almost 4 times larger than Washington, D.C., and larger than some countries. Breaking news. President Trump signs the bill reopening the government. 300,000 Polish patriots take to the streets to declare Poland a sovereign Christian country. A faucet has been spotted in Peru. Artificial intelligence. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is demanding greater control of social media, arguing that alternative narratives threaten the goals of the 2030 Agenda and calling for measures against the platforms that allow their dissemination. When unelected bureaucrats begin to control free speech in the name of security, it's not about protection, but about digital authoritarianism in disguise. From central banks to quantum banking, Media Grid reports that more than 200 sovereign nations are transitioning to a new system based on quantum computing to improve financial transparency and sovereignty. The QFS could democratize global transactions by reducing centralized financial intermediaries. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.